And let me just get our recording started. And I want to let you know, I'm Mary Rubin. I'm our Director of Member Programs at the Isaac Walton League. And also joining me today is Erica Smith, who is our Membership Manager, and Earl Hauer, our Director of Chapter Relations. So today we want to just give you an overview of our new system, the new website, and some of the new database features, and give you some details about how to get into all of this and access things. If you have questions during the session, Eric is going to be helping monitor the chat and people that raise their hands. So please feel free to enter questions that way, and we will call on you as soon as we can. And let's go ahead and jump right into things. So what you're looking at right now is the League's new homepage of our website. And you can see we've got lots of highlighted information, news, updates on the main page. And I would encourage everyone to take a chance to browse around here once the new system is up and live. And I want to just give you a quick overview of some of the topics that are up here. Under About Us is the standard information about the league and the leadership and how to reach someone on the board, how to reach staff members, some history, conservation priorities. This has been updated from the current site, and our goal was to make things a lot more accessible and easier for you to find. So these are our main programs that we're working on. Ways that people can get involved. We've enhanced the nitrate and salt watch programs along with the other water programs. This is where people can come to sign up for all of the different newsletters that we offer. Under the current system, you only had options for conservation currents, action alerts, and appeals, but we are now allowing you to have direct access to all the other newsletters that we have, whether it might be about salt watch or stream monitoring or save our streams in general. We've got Get Outdoors. Here's some of our outdoor recreation programs and resources. Events, we're going to come back to convention registration in a little bit. Join and renew. This is for members at large. This is not for you or your chapter members. So just keep that in mind. Publications, current items from Outdoor America. And then this resource library, which is brand new. And this has tons of information. If we look at the bottom, you'll see there's like 18 pages of data here. You can enter search criteria and filter this down to get just what you're looking for. You can see we've got categories here. If there's particular programs that you're looking for, locations that we may have programs going on, whether it's Great Lakes or the Chesapeake Bay, and it will take you directly to those sections. So hopefully everyone will find this a lot easier to navigate and pull up details of what you're trying to find. Let's go back up to the top. Okay, let's see. I've got 2 more people in the waiting room to let in. Hold on just a second. Okay. And the other thing I wanted to show you is the overview before we start talking about resources for chapters is the Find a Chapter feature. And it's the same map that you're used to seeing, but we have added quite a number of options and resources to this. You can see we've created this legend. These are similar to the signs you see on a highway about telling you what's coming up at a next exit. So we created 7 priority lists of things that chapters offer. This isn't by any means an exhaustive list, but it is the ones that are most common that chapters have. And we allow people to now search by those amenities. So you can see here's the whole overall map. And if I zoom in on a section, if I start going through the different amenities, you can watch how the pins change to zero directly in on these different options. So we hope this is going to help people find your chapter more easily based on programs that you offer. There's also the option to search by location. For instance, like here in in our area near the office is the Rockville chapter. And I also have the option to say, I also want to see chapters that are within, say, another 25 miles. And you can see it pulls up that list. You can click on each of these chapters and get to detailed information about them, the same as you could now. It tells you who to contact for someone to join. It'll include basic picture of your chapter. Earl had sent out a mailing some months ago asking people to submit updated pictures and profile data. And we encourage everyone to really take advantage of doing that so we can highlight and promote your chapter. after the system has been up a little bit and we're kind of under, got some things under our belts and we're feeling more comfortable with it, we will be doing a outreach to all chapters again to update all of your profile data in terms of programs you offer, amenities you have on site. The last time we did this was back in around 1998, 1999. So it is far past time for that to be updated. So we will be doing that. And let's see, what else do we have up here at the top? We have our store. Our storefront is here. And again, you have all the categories down the left hand, the same as you do now, but we do have some new ways to look for something. So let's say, and pictures are still being added. So this is a test system that we're on. I should preface all of this with that. Let's say you're looking for a t-shirt. Once you get t-shirts that come up, you can segment this and just get to a particular color that you might be looking at. If you want to narrow it in down by size, you wear a medium and that's all that you want to see. You can do things like that to narrow in on what you're wanting to purchase and then click and add it to your shopping cart. So let's go back to the main page. And let's talk about logging in and about some chapter resources. So you see there's a button here for member login. You will have to do this for the very first time when you come to the site, but then you don't have to do this again. You will need to create your user credentials. We are not able to pre-populate it. The data that you used on the prior system is not going to be usable here. You will have to enter new passwords. So what you will do the first time is come to member login. And you come up with the page, username, password, and then there are these prompts underneath about whether you forgot your username, forgot your password, or create a new account. What you're going to want to click on is forgot password. And I know you didn't forget it, you didn't have it yet, but this is what takes you to the interface that will let you create your password. I am encouraging everyone, please, please, please do not click on create a new account. All of your access rights about pages you should be able to see, perhaps as a chapter officer, a national board member, anything like that, is all tied to your membership record that is already in the database. If you go out here and create new account, you're basically creating a non-member record for yourself, and it's not going to let you get anywhere. If you're a membership officer, you will not be able to process memberships that way. So again, please take the time to use this feature. Usernames are your email address. It is the email address that is on file with us right now on your record. So you will enter, we'll do click on forgot password, takes you to this, whoops. Yeah, okay, right screen. You'll enter your username, again, your email address, click on the I'm not a robot and click submit, and you will go to a screen that will let you assign your password. Once you are logged in, you don't have to do this again. I mean, if you actually forget your password in the future, you can certainly go and do this again. But this is the step that all of you will need to take as your first thing to do. So let's go back to that home page. And I'm going to log in as somebody so that we can talk about some of these features that are available. And I should preface too, tell you today's session is going to be relatively short because it really was about telling you how to log in and just an overview of the new website. Tomorrow's sessions will get more involved in terms of running things like rosters, processing memberships, and things like that. So I am actually going to use Earl's account to log us in. And we're then going to come to a page. You're still on the home page, but now you have some additional options up at the top. You have the log out button, but you also have my profile. This is where you can manage things about your own record, your personal account. If you need to change your address, you need to add a cell phone number, you can do all of those things here. And we'll go and look at this in a second. There are also a lot of new features that are here. You can manage the subscriptions that you're signed up for. Maybe you haven't been receiving action alerts and you decide you'd like to see those again. You could sign up for that. This is also where you can come to view things like if you make a donation online and maybe you've misplaced the tax letter. You know, it's end of the year, you're trying to do your taxes. You can come here and get a copy of your tax letter and you can email it directly to yourself. You don't have to wait for anyone on staff to do that. You can request a missing issue of the magazine if something happened and yours was not delivered. So there's a bunch of features here, but I do want to show you where to update your address and phone and email information because those are the ones that are most critical. And you can see we've got a little overview of everybody's record. Here is the information about your address, and Earl's using the work address right now. It would have lists about chapters that you belong to, committee positions you might have, on as a chapter officer. But what I wanted you to see was this About Me option. If you click on these three options, actually, nope, I don't want to do that. I wanted to go somewhere else. I'm sorry, everyone. Addresses. Here we go. Here's what I wanted. So you can see the address and phone numbers, email are here. This little icon, the little pencil, you can see I'm hovering over it and it says edit the address. This puts us into the edit mode. And then these are simply fields that you can enter new information, whatever that might be. You can specify an address as a shipping address, a billing address. You can add a new address. Maybe you have a PO box and you actually have a actual street address to use for shipping things. So that's what goes on this screen. Your changes would write to the database immediately, and there's no wait on any of that. And as I said, there are other features here. I would encourage everyone to really just go through the About Me, the profile, and look at your own records and see what kinds of things are out here. Back to our homepage. The other thing that we want to talk about today are some of the chapter resources that are available. So click on chapter resources, and there's three main buttons here. Managing your chapter resources, a little drop down, and then the awards program. The awards program is straightforward. This takes you to information about the awards. It has the forms you can download to nominate someone, has details about each of the awards. At the very bottom, it has last year's winners. It has the historical listing of all the past recipients for the awards. So this is a great resource for you to be looking at now, especially as we're moving into convention time. The other thing on this screen is the chapter resources itself. These are a lot of, you've got a menu here on the left, and then I'm waiting for my screen to update. Let me help it along. Come on. Sorry, this is a little bit slow. We're on a test server and it doesn't work quite as quickly as we are hoping. Let's see if I click on one of these. Okay, this wasn't exactly the menu I wanted you to see, but you can click on each of these different items and you can see the types of things that are out here. Our conservation policies are here, the bylaws are here, information about starting new chapters. This is all data, water monitoring resources. This is all data that's available to anyone that comes to the public website. You don't have to log in to access any of these pieces. But you do, however, have to log in to do anything under Manage Chapter. And you can see we have the three main things that we're offering are out here in these big buttons: managing membership, officer reporting, and the national directory. And then there's some other things down on this left-hand menu. For instance, if you want to get directly to run a roster, which we'll be talking about tomorrow, that's over here. Here are the logos. If you want to download one of the logos because you're going to print up some giveaways for your chapter. Other support resources that Earl offers for different chapter programs. All of those things are here in this one central place. What I did want to show you today is the directory, because that's something that many of you would need to access if you're looking for people to contact. So this interface works very similar to what we've had on the current site. And you can see down here at the bottom, we have some basic info that you can get to. And we've added some new things to this. The bylaws are here, quick links to the conservation policies, the guidelines for national directors. This is a relatively new piece. The mission, the pledge, the officer's oath of office. We get asked for this on a regular basis when it's time for new officers to be installed at chapters, and someone will reach out to us to ask, do you have some stock text? And so that's what we have here. A link directly to the National Board of Directors, a quick link to just the resolutions process itself, so you don't have to dig through the whole conservation policies for it, and another quick link to the staff page back on the main homepage. And then in the directory itself, you can see there are several sections. And you can either choose to print the entire directory. In that case, you would select the all sections, or you can do just sections of it. Maybe you just need a listing of who all the national directors are. You want to add them to a newsletter mailing list that you're doing. Maybe you just want the resource committee so that you have the particular who your fellow committee members might be on a given committee. You need to reach out to the endowment. You can get the endowment data. Again, this data is outdated, but let me pick a section and let's take a look at what it does, just so you can see. It should look very familiar to what you are used to seeing. And depending on how big the section is, you can see that it runs relatively quickly. Here's the page for the national officers. And again, outdated data. This isn't our most current information, but you have the option then. It comes up as a PDF. And this panel that I moved that was hiding this before, that lets you then click on export to PDF. And you can see now I've got a national directory and a download up here at the top of my screen that I can download and save to my own hard drive and print out. And this works the same way for all of the other sections as well. And we can go back to the directory homepage and see those other sections again that are there. I do want to call your attention to the disclaimer at the bottom of the page. This is something you'll also see on the rosters page, that this is a secure part of the site. It does have people's personal information, addresses, phone numbers, things like that. So this data is only available to you to use for official league business. You're not authorized to do anything else with it. You cannot sell the list. You cannot trade it with anyone. It is strictly for our internal use. Those are actually the topics that I have for today. Oh, I do want to show you one other thing. Back on Manage Chapter. It's not here yet. We're in the process of adding it, but there's going to be one more menu item under here, under Download Logos, Chapter Roster, National Directory. There will be another menu option that will be called something along the lines of Help Desk for New Database. We would encourage you to use this email link to report any issues you're having or questions you're having about accessing things on the site. And we've set this up as a dedicated mailbox so that your messages don't get lost in the general league email requests. So because you can see down at the bottom of the page, there is another contact. There's info@iwla.org. This has a different title to it. So again, we would encourage you to look for that button when it's here and utilize that to reach out to us. We are planning to try to have, what we would call a rapid response team in the days and weeks when we first go live, to be able to address questions quickly when people have them. In some cases, it may just be you're having trouble maybe getting your user credentials. We can help you with that. You may actually run into a bug in the system. You try to run something from the national directory and it just bombs out on you. Those are things that we'll need to know and get working on immediately. Our programming team is standing by. They know this will be a critical time period for us. We're not expecting anything to take, days and weeks for you to get responses. We are looking to turn around things very quickly, but we do ask your patience as we work through some of these initial bumps in the road. As I said, this session was being recorded and we will post it on the website. And I've also got screen tips, screen prints of some of the different screens we looked at today, for instance, the directory or the login, how to create your user credentials. And it's a screen print of the page that you saw today with little tips on that page, arrows pointing to specific buttons and options and telling you what to do with those particular options so that you can refresh your memory or have those pages by you. I think those will be most helpful for people when we get into more detailed things like running a roster and setting your parameters for that, and then actually processing membership transactions, which again, we will cover more in depth tomorrow. Also in the coming weeks, Erica is going to be available to any of you for personal one-on-one training, should it be needed. If you're particularly having some difficulties, we're here to help, not just Erica, all of us on staff. And we're also hoping that she will be setting up we anticipate she'll be setting up some other Zoom calls at different times of day that people can just hop on during that session with questions, or it'll be an open forum for questions and responses. Maybe you'd hear a question that somebody else is asking that might catch your attention, so you would be welcome to do that as well. So this is all that I have for today, but I would be happy to entertain any questions that anyone might have at this point. If I do see there's a bunch of stuff in the chat. Okay. Web address for the new site. The site web address is not going to change. It will still be IWLA.org. Right now, the current site is still up. We are in the processes of finalizing the new site. All of this will go live together, but we are not changing the domain name. Let me see what else we've got here. The new system is not quite live yet. We are anticipating kind of a soft launch this Thursday. Barring any difficulties or any problems with final data conversion, we may look to Monday, just to not bring it up on a Friday when the weekend is then. And I see Erica actually already answered that. What else do we have? You can update your password information as soon as the new system is up. So once you get an announcement, Michael Reimer, our communications director, will probably be sending out some additional emails, and he'll be alerting people when the system is up. What else do we have here? Okay, somebody's asking about the on behalf of button. That's actually not a button that any of you will see. That's one of my staff administrator site options. So don't worry about that. Erica, is there anything else that I missed or that you didn't already answer?
Yes, we do have a question regarding, Molly asks, can we have our personal information limited to only the people who need it, such as national staff?
If you are an officer at a chapter, that information is printed in the directory. We do not have a facility to exclude people on an individual basis. That's why these things are behind a firewall, and it's a secure area of the site. It's not available to all and sundry. If you are a membership officer in particular, your information will be on the Find a Chapter mat. People need to know who to get in touch with. So I'm not sure what in particular you might be concerned about having available, but the answer in general is no. I see someone was asking about rosters in Excel format. Yes, you will still be able to do that. We will talk about those tomorrow. What else? Anything else, Erica, that I'm missing? Any hands raised?
No hands raised. I think we got them all. We also have a concern about not wanting cell phone number listed. Is that something that we can assure
Yeah,
that
if you
can
don't
happen?
want to have your cell phone on here, we can take your cell phone out. You can take it out yourself. I mean, we do ask that officers have a phone number for people to contact them, especially if you're the chapter president or a membership officer, a position that the public would need to get in touch with. But it doesn't have to be your cell phone. That's entirely up to you. If you want it to be your landline or a business phone number, that's totally at your discretion. Anything else that we can help anyone with today?
I don't see any other questions pending at this time, Mary.
Okay. Okay. And I guess, Molly, to elaborate more on about who can access data, what you're seeing right now is, again, the national directory, which, yes, a lot of people are going to have access to that. But when it comes to more specific data about individual chapter members, only the membership officers and authorized people from those given chapters are going to see that data. That is not, if you belong to the Elgin chapter, you're not going to be able to view data from the Rockville chapter. You will be limited to viewing your own information. So I think, that's going to cut down dramatically on what people can see. So again, the directory is officer information, not general membership data. So maybe that helps answer that question.
Lastly, we have Wes asking about authorized assistant MDRs.
No, we cannot do that. There is, as we explained back in October, one MDR of record per chapter. We do not have other options for authorizing additional people to serve in that function.
That's good.
Anybody else? Okay, I am going to stop the recording. And what I may try to do is actually email all of you that got the invite for the meeting. I may try to actually email you the recording so that you have it, because I'm not sure if there'll be a delay for us to post it online or not. So stay tuned. Either it'll be online at some point, or we will get it emailed out to you so that people can access it. And you are welcome to share this with others in your chapter who may or may not have been able to attend today. And I really do want to thank everyone for your time and interest. And we really look forward to tomorrow's session and diving a little deeper on things. And I know that not all of you will need to attend the other sessions, but anyone is welcome. And thank you again.